Good evening and a very warm welcome to this weekend edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Thiruni Karunaratna. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Before we head on to your stories in detail, first up is a look at tonight's top stories. Rain causes 15 reservoirs to overflow. Heavy rains of 100 millimeters expected in several parts of Sri Lanka tonight. Operations continue to reduce risk of Alud-Dibul Baba embankment breakage. Farmers say officials have failed to provide a solution for 10 years. Investigation reveals that bus involved in Passara accident which injured 10 was driven by the bus conductor who had no driver's license. Gammadda steps in to provide clean drinking water to residents of Maligathanna, Monaragala. Los Angeles wildfires continue to rage. 144,000 ordered to evacuate. On to your top story for this evening. 30 families living in the area around the Alud-Dibul Baba in Galambindunu Baba have been relocated to safer locations. This was due to the risk posed by water leakage from a crack in its embankment. Galambindunu Baba Divisional Secretary Senaka Veerasinghe said that the danger posed by this cracked embankment has not yet subsided. The Alud-Dibul Baba is considered the second largest Baba in the Galambindunu Baba area. Spread over 7,000 acre feet, this Baba nourishes approximately 1,500 acres of paddy farmland in both the Yala and Maha seasons. Following the heavy rainfall in recent days, yesterday morning, a sinking was observed near the right sluice of the Alud-Dibul Baba. This had occurred due to the water leakage from a crack in the embankment. Authorities took immediate action and closed the Dibul Baba Mahavidyalaya located nearby. They also halted traffic on the main road running from Galambindunu Baba to Yakalla. Additionally, several families in the surrounding area were directed to safer locations as part of preparations for a potential emergency. Since last evening, irrigation officials, security forces and local residents worked together using sandbags to reduce water leakage. However, by night, another sinking occurred and the team, including security forces, took action accordingly. Due to the high water pressure at the point of the crack, in addition to the evacuation, efforts were made to release water from the Baba from 4 places. Meanwhile, Director General of Irrigation Engineer Ajit Gunasekara, along with the technical team, visited the site this morning to inspect the crack in the Alud-Dibul Baba embankment to assess the situation and find necessary solutions. Galambindunu Baba Divisional Secretary Senaka Veerasinghe and Irrigation Engineer Dasun Tilakaratna also joined this inspection.
Our team worked tirelessly until 4 a.m. today. Residents of the village, members of the army, teams from the Department of Irrigation, police and our divisional secretariat all worked together. We resumed our work at 8:30 a.m. We are continuing our efforts and the risk of the crack in the embankment has not yet subsided. However, all these teams are working tirelessly to reduce the risk. We request the people in the area to be vigilant in this regard.
However, residents in the area point out that farmers noticed this crack 10 years ago. The farmers say that officials who failed to provide a solution to this issue for 10 years, breaking off parts of the embankment further, will not provide the solution they need.
They tried to break the old sluice. When they couldn't do it manually, they used backhoes. This weather is a valuable resource to us. Then they proceed to break the bund. That would cut off water supply entirely. What would happen then? Many families will suffer. They have damaged the embankment from a few points by now. The entire weather has been damaged. These officials have still not given us a solution. It has been 10 years since we noticed this leak. They usually unload a pile of soil and wash their hands of that responsibility.
They have damaged this part. There's no point in doing that. There's no path for the water flow here. And we can only dig down about 3 feet at most. Instead of digging down here, if they had dug near the old bund, the water would have had drained out by now. Within 10 minutes, the water would have drained out. Then the pressure could have been reduced and the work could have been done there. But they chose to dig this point. Now an entire village will have to suffer. No one on this side can go to the other side because it's blocked off.
Look at what officials of the irrigation department have done to this bund. This is what these intelligent officials can do. They completely destroyed the bund. From 6 in the morning until 12 noon yesterday, the irrigation department, as villagers suggested that we would separate the water near the bund and drain it. However, nothing was done. Starting tomorrow, what are we supposed to eat? How can we continue with our livelihood?
Newsfirst correspondent said that the Director General of Irrigation refused to comment on the matter. The Department of Irrigation says that sluice gates of 15 large-scale reservoirs and 8 medium-scale reservoirs continue to remain open. The department adds that the Rajangana, Mahakanadaraba, Mahavilakshya, Nuarababa, Nachadua, Sorobora and Kaudula reservoirs are among them.
The Department of Irrigation says that if rainfall increases in the future, the volume of water released through sluice gates will have to be increased. Meanwhile, the Met Department issuing an advisory on heavy rainfall says that heavy showers above 100 mm can be expected at some places in the eastern, Uva and central provinces as well as in the Polonnaruwa district. The department adds that due to the active northeast monsoon conditions, prevailing showery condition in northern, north-central, eastern, Uva and central province is likely to continue in the next 24 hours further. Meanwhile, the sea areas off the coasts extending from Galle to Hambantota, Colombo, Puttalam, Kankasanture, Trincomalee and Batiklo will be rough at times with strong gusty winds up to 50 to 60 km per hour. Issuing an advisory for strong winds and rough seas, the Met Department advises the naval and fishing communities to be attentive in this regard. The advisory goes on to note that the swell waves height may increase in the sea areas off the coast extending from Mullaitivu to Batiklo via Trincomalee.
Are your phones registered? Will the TRCSL block your devices?
එහෙම දන්නේ නැහැ ලොකෝට. මම දන්නෙත් නැහැ හරියට ඒ ගැන නම්. ෆෝන් එකට වඩා ඉනි නම්බර්ස් තමයි උමනා වෙන්නේ.
And in a headline-making international news item this evening, Californians have demanded to know who is at fault for the vast devastation caused by the raging Los Angeles wildfires, as a strict curfew went into force to prevent looting and lawlessness. At least 11 people have died as flames ripped through neighborhoods and razed thousands of homes in a disaster that the United States President Joe Biden likened to a war scene. While residents of Los Angeles grapple with the heart-rending ruin, anger has risen over officials' preparedness and response, particularly for a series of false evacuation alarms and after hydrants ran dry as firefighters battled the initial blazes. U.S. fire authorities have made some progress in containing the fires, meaning barriers that could stop the blazes from spreading are in place. The LA County Medical Examiner says that at least 11 people have been killed as a result of the fires. There are at least 6 fires currently burning according to state authority CAL FIRE, with the Palisades fire, the largest, spanning more than 21,500 acres, is now 8% contained. The Eaton fire is still burning more than 14,000 acres and is 3% contained. It has destroyed close to 1,000 structures. The Kenneth fire has scorched just over 1,000 acres and is 50% contained, while the Hearst fire is impacting about 770 acres and is 70% contained. The Lydia fire, located in the hills north of Los Angeles, is burning across 395 acres and is 98% contained. The newest blaze, the Archer fire, started on Friday and has burnt through 19 acres. The evacuation warning issued for an area of the Palisades fire has been upgraded to a mandatory evacuation order with immediate effect. The Los Angeles Fire Department expanded the evacuation order, so it now includes the suburbs of Brentwood and Encino. Local authorities say that more than 144,000 people are under evacuation orders in the Los Angeles County.
There's nothing left, and I've been here for about an hour and a half, and I don't want to leave. It's home.
Everything that we know and love is gone. Not just this house, my whole city gone, man. The whole thing, like everything, my whole neighborhood, everything that I grew up to love and know is burnt up.
The California Governor's Office of Emergency Service says it has 8 shelters for people displaced by the fires, and more than 700 people are currently using those shelters. At least 60,000 homes and businesses are without power in Los Angeles, and this is according to a site that tracks power outages in the United States. In the LA County, about 32,000 customers of Los Angeles Department of Water and Power have no electricity, while just over 30,000 customers of Southern California Edison are without power. The figures have improved since Tuesday when the first fires broke out. At that time, roughly 200,000 customers had no power.
I'm pretty close to a few fires that are going around. The 80 to 100 miles per hour of Santa Ana winds that usually come around this time, and this time it was really bad and unpredicted, as the winds were erratic and they were blowing in multiple directions, which is almost unprecedented. What happened is the power lines got knocked down by the winds on Tuesday night, and those sparked the first fires, and the sparks caught like massive trees, and since it's winter now and everything is so dry, it caught fire really fast and it spread within a few hours over thousands of acres. Because of the winds, which were like 90 to 100 miles per hour, 80 in some locations, the helicopters and the planes couldn't get to the fires sooner because it was too dangerous for them to do so. They cannot fly and drop water or retardants, and therefore for almost like a day and a half they were unable to go and fight the fires. And this was the main reason that all these fires spread so fast. And as the wind escalated, embers were flown to other areas as well in multiple directions, which started a couple of the other fires as well. As you can see, We still have winds in my area, and it has died down a little, but the howling sound still continues, which means, it hasn't really died down to the level that we would like. The smoke is really bad. We've been having this smoke for like an ash for a few days now, and it's starting to have an effect. I have like headaches and my eyes are kind of burning right now because we've been exposed to this for a few days now. So you can imagine how bad it is for people who are actually in the fires.
Los Angeles authorities have declared a local health emergency for the whole county due to poor air quality as fire ash and smoke from the wildfires blankets the area. In a statement, LA County Public Health issued a declaration and a public health order external as the fires and strong winds have severely degraded air quality, posing immediate and long-term risks to public health. Authorities add that the fires have forced residents from their homes and evacuations from healthcare facilities, disrupting vital health services and resources. The health order also bans the use of power air blowers such as leaf blowers as they stir up ash in the air, negatively impacting those with respiratory conditions, older adults, children and other vulnerable populations. In Kantale, a poorly managed garbage dump is causing havoc. Wild elephants are drawn to the trash, destroying crops and property in the nearby villages. Despite millions of rupees being set aside to fix the problem, mismanagement and corruption have left the community to face the consequences. This is the story of how a promise for change went unfulfilled, leaving the people of Kantale to suffer.
What happened to the village?
This is a sprawling garbage dump in Suryapura, located along the road from Kantale to Seruvila. This site was established by the Kantale Pradeshiya Sabha with the aim of managing the town's waste more effectively. Around a decade ago, the local council began a waste recycling program to tackle the growing garbage problem. Despite millions of rupees allocated by various government bodies for the development and maintenance of a waste management center, the project has failed to materialize as planned. What remains are just a few empty buildings. Meanwhile, the Kantale Pradeshiya Sabha has been dumping waste haphazardly around these structures.
කසල කළමනාකරන ව්‍යාපෘතියක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම සඳහා අවශ්‍ය මූල්‍ය ප්‍රතිපන්න රාජ්‍ය සහ
Considerable financial support has come from both public and private sectors for this project. Since 2010, over 20 million rupees were allocated, and more recently, the Central Environmental Authority provided an additional 35 million rupees. Yet, these funds have either been misappropriated or poorly managed, leaving the waste management system in a state of disarray.
ඒකේ විනාශ කරලා දාලා මෙතන අවශ්‍යතාවය නැත්නම් මෙතන කළමනාකරන ව්‍යාපෘතිය සඳහා අවශ්‍ය ක්‍රියාවලියක් මෙතන සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
As a result, the surrounding environment, including the nearby Chundakadu sanctuary, has been severely impacted. The sanctuary and local wildlife now face a serious threat. Wild elephants, attracted by the garbage, have been wreaking havoc in nearby villages such as Suryapura, Jayantipura, Barnala and Sinipura, destroying crops and property and threatening the livelihoods of local farmers. In 2017, 20 million rupees was set aside for this project. But where did that money go? They built a few structures, installed some machinery, but nothing substantial has been done. More recently, another large sum was allocated. But instead of addressing the core issue, they just built some poorly designed electric fences. These funds were meant to protect our village and wildlife, but instead they were squandered. The waste management system is still failing and the elephants continue to cause damage. No one is taking responsibility. Who is accountable for the misuse of public funds meant to improve the community? Who is profiting from this ongoing waste management fiasco? Why have the authorities remained silent throughout this entire process? Shouldn't these issues be addressed while we look for real solutions?
What happened to the village?
Fishermen are a vital part of Sri Lanka's economy, but their struggles often go unnoticed. For many, fishing is not just a job, it's a way of life passed down through generations. Yet today, this way of life is under threat. In Koggala, once a bustling tourist hub, the fishermen now face a harsh reality. They depend on fishing to survive, but new restrictions have made their traditional methods illegal. Without the ability to fish as they always have, many are left with nothing.
පොඩි මාළු වරෙන් දැන් එන්නේ නැහැ. මාළු ඇත්තේ නැත්නම් මේ තහනම් පන්න ක්‍රමින් තමයි මේ විනාශ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේ අසල ජීවන කර්මාදී ඇත්තටම ඇත්තේ නැහැ. මොනවක් කරන්නේ? අද වෙනකොට මේ වෘත්තිය දැන් අපිට පාගලා තියෙන්නේ. තහනම් පන්නටි නතර කරනවා නේද? මේක තමයි අපේ රස්සාව.
These fishermen aren't just asking for their livelihoods back. They want a chance to support their families and contribute to the country's economy sustainably. But the path to that solution is unclear. The Gammadda team visited Koggala, where they spoke directly with the fishermen, listening to their stories and struggles. They then travelled to nearby villages like Habaraduwa, Morampitigoda, Madalduwa and Alpitigala. Everywhere they went, the story was the same. Communities struggling to survive, unable to make ends meet. The Gammadda team in Anuradhapura visited villages like Kattugama, Ihalamillavava and Urakote. They listened to the locals, hearing their concerns and frustrations. The team is still on their journey, and tomorrow will mark the 4th day of their work.
Gammadda, door to door.
In many parts of the world, access to clean drinking water is something we take for granted. But for the children of the Malighatana Mahavidyalaya, a school in rural Monaragala district, this basic necessity has always been a struggle. Today, their story changes. Let's take a look. For years, the children at the Malighatana Mahavidyalaya in Monaragala have lived without clean drinking water, something so basic yet so out of reach for them. As a result, many of the children have suffered, with some even developing kidney problems from the contaminated water they had to drink. Malighatana is a small village in the Monaragala district, home to about 450 families. Clean water has always been a need here, but the villagers simply cannot afford it. But today, things are different. The Gammadda movement answered the school's call for help. Today, they laid the foundation stone for a new water purification system that will provide clean water to both the school and the village, bringing fresh hope to the entire community. This project was funded by Mantri Amarasinghe, with government officials and members of Gammadda coming together for the occasion.
අපිට මහා ශක්තියක් තියෙනවා අපිව විශ්වාස කරනවා ජනතාව ඒ විශ්වාසය මත පදනම් කරගෙන අපි පියවර තිබ්බා මේ විදිහට.
The real strength comes from the trust that the people place in us, and it is because of that trust that we've been able to step forward and work together with the community to solve real problems. It doesn't take grand gestures, it's about making small changes, one step at a time. Yes, it's not easy, but it's those small steps that bring real progress. That's what we do at Gamantha. We don't just report the news, we go out to the villages, we talk to the people, we listen to their struggles, and we find solutions together. This initiative is a direct result of that trust, and we are not stopping here. We'll keep pushing for change, making sure that every effort benefits the people of this country.
ඒ හැම වෙනස්කමකම ප්‍රතිලාභය මේ රටේ ජනතාවට ලබා දෙන්න අපි සූදානමින් ඉන්නවා.
අධ්‍යාපන නිලධාරියෙක් විදියට මට මගේ සාර්ථකත්වය ළඟා කරගන්න බෑ මේ දරු පැටවු ටික නිරෝගී වුණ නැත්තම්. නිරෝගීමත් දරු පරපුරක් තරණ එක තමයි යහපත් රටක් තනන්නට අවශ්‍ය වෙන පළවෙනි කාරණය. එතනින් තමයි හොඳ අධ්‍යාපනයක් හොඳ පුරවැසියෙක් බිහි කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. ඉතාම වටිනා විදිහට ප්‍රදේශයට පවතින අවශ්‍යතාවය විද්‍යාත්මකව හඳුනා ගනිමින් මෙවන් වූ ව්‍යාපෘතියක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා අපේ මේ දරුවන් සහ ප්‍රදේශවාසීන්ගේ සෞඛ්‍ය තත්ත්වය නංවාලන්නට මේක අපිටත් කරන උදව්වක් අපිට යහපත් ඉවැරදිව අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඉලක්ක කරා අධ්‍යාපනයෙන් යන්න පුළුවන් මේ දරුවෝ නිරෝගී වුණාම.
For those of us in the cities, clean water is something we often take for granted. But for the people in Maligathanna, it has been a distant dream. This new system will change their lives, starting with the children at the school. It is a powerful reminder that even small changes can make a huge difference. Gamadda, for the people, by the people.
Newsfirst, with the people.
And in more local news, a bus accident near the Passara 10th milepost this morning resulted in at least 10 people being injured. Police said that the accident was caused by the bus conductor, who was found to be driving without a valid license.
The accident occurred around 6 am when a bus travelling from Colombo to Passara veered off course near the Passara 10th mile post. As a result of the crash, 10 people were hospitalized. 6 of the injured were treated and discharged, while 4 others were transferred to a different facility for further medical care. The injured are currently receiving treatment at the Passara District Hospital. Among those injured were a 7-year-old boy and his mother.
பஸ் ஒரே சத்தம் ரோட்ல டக்குன்னு கதவை திறந்து வெளியில வந்து பார்த்தா பஸ் அப்படியே கிடக்குது. பிள்ளைகள்லாம் உள்ளுக்கு சத்தம், நாங்கள் போய் ஜன்னல் ஏறி பிள்ளைகள்லாம் தூக்கி பார்த்தா பஸ் அப்படியே கிடக்குது. பிள்ளைகள்லாம் உள்ளுக்கு சத்தம், நாங்கள் போய் ஜன்னல் ஏறி பிள்ளைகள்லாம் தூக்கி எடுத்தோம்.
According to the police, the bus conductor was driving the vehicle when the accident took place.
Life's not about lines, it's about breaking free. It's not about boxes, it's about exploding beyond them. You're the miracle.
Welcome back. This is Primetime News. Lately, there has been a lot of talk about the future of mobile phones in Sri Lanka, especially on social media, with many people sharing their thoughts and opinions. The Newsfirst digital team decided to take a closer look into the matter. Budmi Namara Divakara files this report.
What will happen to your phone after the 28th of January? Do you know about the IMI number?
එහෙම දන්නේ නැහැ ලොකුවට.
මම දන්නෙත් නෑ හරියට ඒ ගැන නම්.
ඒක සාමාන්‍ය වෙන ෆෝන් එකකම තියෙනවා. මේ නම්බර අවශ්‍යම ෆෝන් එකට නිකන් අදිස්සේ ෆෝන් එක නැති වුණොත් හරි මොනවා වුණොත් හරි මේ නම්බර එක අපිට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් පොලිසියට එන්ටයක් දාලා හරි මේ කම්පැනි එකට දීලා හරි
ෆෝන් එකට වඩා ඉමි නම්බර්ස් තමයි උමනා වෙන්නේ. ෆෝන් එකක් ඔයාගේ නැති වුණොත් ඉමි නම්බර්ස් තිබ්බුත් තමයි ඔයාට TR සෙල් එකෙන් කම්ප්ලේන්ට් එකක් දෙමුත් එතනින් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්.
මොනයි මේ නම්බර? ෆෝන් එකේ එමීගෙන් තමයි මගේ ෆෝන් එක නැති වුණොත් එම හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් ඉමි නම්බර එක. එම් නම්බර එකේ තමයි වැදගත්. TRC කරා ගොඩක් විස්තර හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් එම් නම්බර එක තියෙනවා. ෆෝන් එක නැති වුණොත් එහෙම පොලිසියට දීලා හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. දැනුවත් උනේ ඉතින් සෝෂල් මීඩියා වලින් තමයි. නෑ. මේ ෆෝන් එක හඳුනා ගන්න ෆෝන් එකේ ID කාඩ් එක වගේ එකක්.
Today we roamed around Colombo and asked people whether they knew about the IMI number. They shared their ideas. It is very different. So what actually is the IMI number?
The IMI is the identity of your mobile phone, similar to how we all have our own identity cards. You can find your device's IMI number by dialing the number *#06#. What is going to happen soon? What are the people talking about? The TRCSL has decided to ban non-registered mobile devices from local networks in the near future. They will implement an international mobile equipment identity IMI registration system starting on the 29th of January 2025 to restrict the use of unregistered devices. So what happens now? All mobile phones, tablets and SIM-enabled devices must have a TRCSL approved IMI. Non-registered devices will be blocked from all local networks. Devices already connected to local networks before the 28th of January will not be affected. You might be wondering about what will happen if you purchase a device from another country in the future. If you import or bring devices into the country, you must register them through an online clearance system which will require approval from the TRCSL, Sri Lanka Customs and other government bodies.
නිසි ප්‍රමිතියක් නොමැති අනවසරයෙන් ආනයනය කරන දුරකථන ජනතාවට විකිණීම වළක්වාලීමට කටයුතු කරන අතර අවසානයේදී බලාපොරොත්තු වන්නේ රට තුළට නීත්‍යානුකූල නොවන ආකාරයෙන් ජංගම දුරකථන ගෙන ඒම වැළැක්වීම.
The Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government has instructed all public servants to be informed about the Clean Sri Lanka program by the 25th of January.
Deputy Minister Ruwan Senarath said that awareness programs at the district levels for heads of public institutions have already been completed with the intervention of members of the Clean Sri Lanka Presidential Task Force. The Deputy Minister emphasized that senior government officials at the district level should ensure that public servants are also informed about the program. He further mentioned that these activities must be completed promptly.
Meanwhile, excise duty on alcohol has been increased by 6% effective today. The Ministry of Finance has issued an extraordinary gazette in this regard.
The new rates specify that the price of a 750 milliliter bottle of liquor will rise by at least 106 rupees. Additionally, the price of other types of alcohol will increase by 5%. The Ceylon Tobacco Company has also raised cigarette prices following the excise duty hike. Price adjustments have been made across 4 categories, leading to an increase of 5 to 10 rupees per cigarette.
The launch of the NVQ Level 5 equivalency recognition for CIPM's Diploma in Professional Human Resource Management was held yesterday in Colombo.
The Chartered Institute of Personnel Management Sri Lanka recently received National Vocational Qualification Level 5 equivalency for its Diploma in Professional Human Resource Management. The official launch of this program took place yesterday in Colombo 5.
Today we celebrate a historic milestone in the illustrious journey of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management Sri Lanka. Achieving NVQ Level 5 equivalency for CIPM's Diploma in Professional HRM is a proud moment for CIPM and the entire HR fraternity in Sri Lanka. This achievement solidifies our firm commitment to excellence in education and the professional growth of HR practitioners. CIPM has been a pioneer in HR education for decades, shaping professionals who drive progress across organizations nationwide.
The event was attended by industry experts, CIPM council members, the president of the OPA and others.
The US State Department is now offering $25 million for information leading to the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. The move to raise the bounty from its initial $15 million came as Maduro was sworn in for his third term as president, despite evidence that he lost the election to the country's opposition leader in July 2024.
Ancestros primigenios. Y jura por su honor.
The United States has announced an increased $25 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on the day he was sworn in for a third six-year term in office. The inauguration ceremony was overshadowed by recrimination from the international community and Venezuelan opposition leaders. Rewards have also been offered for information leading to the arrest and/or conviction of the Interior Minister. A new reward of up to $15 million for the Defense Minister has also been offered. The United Kingdom also issued sanctions on 15 top Venezuelan officials, including judges, members of the security forces and military officials. Also on Friday, the EU said it was extending restrictive measures against Venezuela because of the lack of progress leading to restoration of democracy and the rule of law. The bloc also sanctioned a further 15 Venezuelan officials. Canada also imposed fresh sanctions in what Foreign Minister Melanie Joly called Maduro's quote-unquote shameless actions. Maduro and his government have repeatedly denounced many of the allegations made by Western countries and opposition leaders. The reward from the US cites narcotics and corruption charges dating back to 2020. In 2020, the United States charged Maduro and other senior officials in the country with narco-terrorism. It accused them of flooding the United States with cocaine and using drugs as a weapon to undermine the health of Americans. A judge has sentenced US President-elect Donald Trump to an unconditional discharge, bringing to an end the first criminal trial of a former US president.
Discharge. And for that, it's a very sad day.
The sentence in the hush money payment case means the incoming president has been spared any penalty, including jail time or a fine, but he will still take office as the first US president with a felony conviction. Justice Juan Merchant said shortly before announcing the sentence, quote, "Never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances," unquote, calling it a truly extraordinary case. Appearing by a video call from Florida and flanked by his attorney and two prominent American flags, Trump declared he was totally innocent. It was the first time in this year-and-a-half-long legal saga that Trump had uttered more than a not guilty or given a brief affirmative answer. Granted the chance to speak ahead of his sentencing, Trump railed against the case for several minutes. Trump said, quote, "This has been a very terrible experience," unquote. He claimed that there has been a weaponization of the judicial system and claimed that the case was brought by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for political reasons. Sri Lanka triumphed over New Zealand by 140 runs in the third one-day international today.
The third one-day international held in Auckland saw Sri Lanka win the toss and opt to bat first. Sri Lanka's innings got off to a strong start with Pathum Nissanka, who brought up his 16th ODI half-century. However, he was forced to retire hurt after scoring 50 runs due to an injury. Avishka Fernando contributed 17 runs. Kusal Mendes and Kamidu Mendes then shared an 87-run partnership for the third wicket. Kusal Mendes scored a well-made 54, while Kamidu Mendes added 46 runs. The middle order was further bolstered by the return of Pathum Nissanka, who came back to the crease and combined with Janit Lianage. Nissanka added 66 runs, while Lianage contributed 53 runs. Sri Lanka finished their innings with 290 runs, losing 8 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. In response, New Zealand's chase faltered as Sri Lankan bowlers produced a clinical performance. Will Young was dismissed for a duck, caught off a delivery from Mahish Theekshana. Rachin Ravindra was also dismissed for 1 run. Darryl Mitchell was dismissed for 2 runs. Asita Fernando then struck again in the 6th over, removing Tom Latham and Glenn Phillips without them getting on the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah, they're taken! Oh, Sri Lanka's on fire
Mark Chapman top scored for New Zealand with 81 runs. No other New Zealand batsman was able to make a significant contribution as Sri Lanka's bowlers maintained tight control throughout. Asitha Fernando, Mahesh Theekshana and Eshan Malinga each claimed 3 wickets, putting the hosts on the back foot. New Zealand were bowled out for just 150 runs in 29.4 overs. This is Sri Lanka's largest margin of victory over New Zealand in ODIs in terms of runs. Despite today's win, New Zealand secured the series 2-1.
Day 1 of the EVA All-Ireland Netball Tournament 2025 was held at the Air Force Grounds in Colombo. The opening ceremony of the EVA All-Ireland Netball Tournament took place this morning under the leadership of Group Chief Executive Officer of the Capital Maharaja Group, Suresh Srinivasan, with the participation of officials and players from the Western Province Netball Association.
This milestone event celebrates not only the spirit of the competition, but also our enduring commitment to women's empowerment and community development. For 3 decades, EVA has stood as a beacon of support and encouragement for women across Sri Lanka, enabling them to lead lives marked by confidence, strength and dignity. By championing netball, a sport that mirrors our values of teamwork, perseverance and resilience, we continue to foster environments where women and girls can thrive both on and off the court.
The tournament features 4 divisions. Division A, comprising open women's and men's categories. Division B, open for women only, excluding all national players. Veterans Division, women over 40. And Schools Division, which comprises under 15, under 17 and under 19. Matches for all divisions took place today. The final matches are scheduled for tomorrow. The Shakti FM Pongal Festival officially kicked off today at the Havoc City Mall, marking the start of a vibrant celebration. The event features a wide range of exciting activities, all of which are being broadcast live from the mall between 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. The Shakti FM Pongal Festival kicked off this morning with a variety of exciting events. One of the main highlights of the series of events is the Shakti Campus Superstar Competition, where young singers are competing. The competition began at 3 p.m. today and will continue tomorrow. A kolam competition will also take place on Monday at 3 p.m., giving participants the chance to showcase their artistic talents by creating intricate designs. The festival will conclude on the 14th of January, Thai Pongal Day, with a special Pongal celebration at 5 p.m.
Serve this, darling, you look perfect tonight.
கொஞ்சம் பார்க்கணும் கைகள் கோர்க்கணும் ஜோடி சேர்ந்து லவ்வசாக ஊர சுத்தணும்
I see you, I feel you, that is how I know you.
Well, that's a wrap of Prime Time News for tonight. Thank you for watching. Take care. Good night.